Hello, guys. Thank you guys for joining the show. Today, I have Ella here from TriWellness LLC, and she's going to be talking about her services. She's a Reiki master, as well as she reads tarot cards and does in a spiritual medium. So we're going to have her here today, and I'm forever grateful and thankful for her for being here to explain her services and what she does and how she impacts change on the world. So without further ado, we have Ella here from TriWellness LLC, and you can take the floor, Ella.
Hi, first, thanks so much for having me. I am delighted to speak with you today, and hello to everybody listening. My name is Ella Sisley. I am the owner of TriWellness LLC. We are a healing studio based in Silver Spring, Maryland, dedicated to helping others find natural ways towards health and wellness.
Thank you. That was beautiful. All right, so what is TriWellness LLC?
Well, living in a modern age requires modern techniques for sustaining balance, and that's where TriWellness comes in. We
Okay.
focus on helping people sustain balance in a chaotic world. We like to arm them with the tools and techniques to create their own habits of abundance and build a personal relationship with their own wellness.
I like that. And I like the fact that you said chaotic because we are going through some unprecedented time right now, and people definitely need healing.
For
They need
sure.
answer and just need guidance through it all.
Yeah, and sometimes, we don't even get in our cars without navigation, right? Without some guidance onto how to get where we're going. And, the same should be true to life.
Right.
We should have some navigation and some guidance there as well. I'm a spiritual medium, so which means I'm sensitive to energy, both physical and non-physical. So I can, in other words, hear, see, and feel spirit. And so when I meet with clients, I use my sensitivities to assess the state of their energy. And some of us, we just are kind of just pulled in so many directions. We don't even know that we're off balance
Right.
sometimes. So that's where Try Wellness comes in.
Well, thank you for that. The next question I have here is, what life events triggered you into tapping more into your spirituality?
Well, I inherited my gifts from my grandmother, but I
Okay.
had never fully embraced them. Then in 2017, I had a close friend and neighbor resort to suicide.
Mm,
And it was at that moment that I realized, while life knocks all of us down, some of us truly need help getting back up.
right.
And so that really, that tragic event, just it became the catalyst to open my mind and my heart to the idea of using my abilities for helping others.
Wow. That's definitely amazing, especially dealing with those tragedies and
Yeah.
being able to use that as a catalyst to help people out. So I definitely appreciate you for that.
Yeah, and unfortunately, suicide, especially given the troubled time that we're in, things like depression and suicide are on the rise. And so, really kind of, having people like myself, like you, with the platform to kind of let people know that they're not alone, I think are imperative.
Exactly. And I want to focus more on saying that we're not alone. I think a lot of times in life, and you can touch bases on this too, when we're going to situations and trials and tribulations, we may feel like it's only us going through it.
Yeah.
But, there's a lot of people dealing with similar circumstances or even worse circumstances. So having that
Yeah.
level-headed and ability just know that it could always be worse and just be grateful for your position.
Yeah, and I think, by nature, we're programmed, not by nature, excuse me, by our parents and by the world in general, we're programmed to believe that life is a contest and
Mm,
it's survival of the fittest and that you have to be strong and you cannot break down and be weakness or show any types of weakness. And that's absolutely false, right? So it causes us to kind of come out from a place of aggression, a place of anger, toughness. And strength is found in the heart. Strength is found in compassion. And when we can show compassion for ourselves, only then can we be compassionate towards another. I like to use the analogy, when you go on a plane ride and the stewardess tells you, please secure your oxygen mask before securing a neighbor or a close child. The
Right.
same is true in life. You have to secure your oxygen mask first before you can give to others.
Now, I totally agree. You have to take care of yourself first before you can help somebody else out.
Definitely.
That was a beautiful example. Um, I would like the audience to understand, what does a Reiki master mean? They have
Well,
questions on that.
Well, let's get into what is Reiki, first of all.
Okay.
Reiki is it's an ancient Japanese technique used for stress reduction and that promotes healing with the body. It works with the body's chakras, and for anyone who doesn't know what chakras are, those are the body's energy centers of the body. To kind of not get too technical here, but it's believed that all illness is stemmed from an imbalance of this energy system.
Mm,
And so what Reiki does, it helps to break up any blockages, any stagnant energy that the person may be holding within their energy system, and it helps them release that. Could be traumas, could be grief, could be disappointments, sadness, things like that. It helps the body kind of promote the flushing out of those negative energies and vibrations. And
okay.
so a Reiki master, I'm sorry, is someone who is, certified and trained in the modality and been given the attunement to actually perform Reiki on another.
Got you. And how long does that process take in order to become a Reiki master?
It's about, I would say, about 7 months of training to become a Reiki master. It's understanding, and Reiki is different for each Reiki master. The beautiful thing about Reiki is that it works in unison with other healing modalities. It also complements the Reiki master's abilities. So, for example, the fact that I can hear, see, and feel spirit, right? So Reiki will work with my gifts to kind of, I can hear things that are going on, blockages in the energy system. It shows me things so that I can then relay that to the client and say, hey, these are the things that are going on. These are the blockages, what's holding you back. So it's just a beautiful healing modality that complements any type of, contemporary medicine.
Beautiful. Next question I have is tarot cards. A lot of people, see tarot cards, they don't know what it is, and they have a lot of questions. And I just want to ask you, first of all, what are tarot cards, and how have you used them to help your clients and the world at large?
Well, that's a great question, and I really want to thank you so much for asking, because I know that there is a negative stigma surrounding tarot cards. And so, to simply put it, tarot cards are nothing more than a tool. Right? It's a tool that we utilize to connect with a higher source, with a higher energy. So it helps, for me, the way I use it for my clients, it helps my clients kind of get out of their head and access universal truths and information that they either might be missing or maybe ignoring altogether. The tarot doesn't lie, is what I like to say. And I even do tarot card readings on myself, and it's great because, you know, everything in life is asking for your attention, right? We pick up our phones, you got social media going off, the email, the kids, everyone fights for a piece of your attention.
Mm,
And the way I utilize the tarot is I ask for the guidance as to where I need to aim my energy. So, it kind of helps me, trim the fat in my world. You know what I mean? And I can kind of harness my energy full throttle in the areas that, a higher power has been directed me to. So that's how I use tarot.
Thank you. That was a beautiful example. And that cleared up a lot of misunderstanding that people had about tarot cards. So I'm glad you mentioned that. Let's move on to one of the biggest things that people like to relate spirituality with, which is meditation.
Mhm.
So my question is, how can meditation help people reduce stress and cause overall healing to themselves?
Well, meditation is a way to connect to the inner energy that powers the natural processes of healing and self-realization. So, I mean, it's an ancient technique that is still honored in many, many religions. And it's been found that it actually causes changes within one's heart rate respiration system, and in turn helps reduce stress.
Gotcha.
And so kind of training the mind to slow down. We all have that monkey mind of what we got to do tomorrow or next week or next month. So having the mind trained to be in the present moment, I think is major, and a major source of, helping one reduce stress. Because if, a lot of people's thoughts are either future based or past based. Based in the future, stressful what you got to do, or in the past, stressful of what you shoulda, coulda, woulda done. Right? So meditation helps to kind of align the mind, body, and spirit so that you are in the present moment.
Mm. I'm glad you said the present moment, because I can even attest to it myself. Times after times where I'm just thinking about the past or I'm thinking about the future. But
Yeah.
when I meditate, when I get chances to meditate, I see how much present sense I have. I see how much I am aware of the present. I think, like you said, social media is grabbing our attention, and a lot of things around us, are just bombarding us with messages and images. So I definitely agree that meditation allows you to focus on the present moment.
Yeah, and it also allows you to kind of tap into your own feelings without attaching them to a particular source or person. It's this whole, you're creating detachment, right? And when you do that in the body, then your happiness, your joy is not contingent on a person, a place, a thing, because your happiness is already found within. Once you can kind of recognize your energy in its current state and honor your feelings, if you're sad, that's okay. If you're angry, that's okay too. But honoring that, acknowledging that is the only way to kind of interrupt that pattern.
Gotcha. And the key thing I took from it as well, as you said, honoring your feelings,
Yeah,
not bashing it if it's good or bad, just being able to be aware of it.
exactly, exactly.
Gotcha. All right. So this question I have is related to the global pandemic that is in occurrence. I wanted to ask you, how can people utilize this global pandemic for their rise and to grow spiritually, even through all the midst of this chaos?
Well, this is definitely a challenging time to say the least, but I would encourage people to seize the opportunity that comes with distancing oneself and use it to reconnect with the inner self. I think that this is, a perfect time to take an introspective look at your habits, your routines, your schedule, your environment, people in your environment, and all different energy influences. And once you take a full assessment, then you can purge the things that no longer serve your highest good. And it starts there. And a lot of times we are kind of just running to the demands of our employer, or like I said, our families, our children, that we don't realize that, the body and the spirit, that we have requirements that need to be met, before we
Exactly.
can go and be things to others. And so, purging anything that does not serve your highest good. We always say, oh, we'll get to that. Those are like the clothes in the closet. Well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Look at your closet. What's in your closet? What's in your inner closet? Now's the time to go through your wardrobe and go ahead and donate what no longer serves you. And that's how I think that, like I said, you have to look at it through the lens of an opportunity rather than, gosh, this is just challenging and tough and just kind of, feelings run on different vibrations.
Right.
Okay. Always on a vibration of sadness or despair, or stress. This causes a low vibration. And I don't know if you're familiar with the law of attraction.
Yes.
If you're always vibrating low, then this is what you're attracting, is a low vibration. So again, in kind of taking your assessment and purging the things that no longer serve you, only then will you have the space to invite positive things into your life.
I like how you said that, just taking an introspect into your life, and this pandemic has allowed us to, because most of the times we're busy waking up in the morning, we're on a certain regimen, and time, and we're just moving. Like our monkey brain is just in full effect. We're not able to sit back, reflect, and just think for a second. So I think that this pandemic has allowed people, if they're utilizing their time well, to just be more introspective and just
Right.
assess themselves. So I truly believe
Yeah,
that.
and create goals for yourself. You know what I mean? This is the perfect opportunity. You don't have to wait till the start of the year. You know, this is the perfect time to create. I want to build a meditation habit. All right, what am I going to do? I'm going to try to, target 3 times a week, or what have you. But right now is like the key time to build those habits of abundance.
Got you. Next question, and this relates to the last question I just asked you. So right now, a lot of people are in fear through the current events. They have a lot of stagnation. Um, what are some things that people can do, to just help calm their mind, body, and spirit? It's a lot of fear being pumped out through
Yeah.
media, and people are just they don't know what to think. They don't know what to think. Everything is unexpected.
Yeah, and we tend to stress so much about the things that we cannot control. And I think once you accept the fact that you cannot control any circumstances outside of yourself, once you accept that reality and surrender the rest of it, let go and let God, like they say,
Let
you
go and
gotta
let God.
surrender. You don't have to take on all of the challenges and chaos and mayhem and all of that. I mean, if you're trying to do that, operating from a place where you're not totally aligned and in balance, mind, body, and spirit, then you're not going to do anything but make it worse, because balance comes from you. And if you don't have it, how can you give it to another? Yeah.
Amazing. So if you don't have that peace in yourself, if you don't have that gratitude within yourself, how can you give it to another?
Yeah, you can never pour from an empty cup. You can never pour from an empty cup. You always got to keep refilling that pitcher and making sure that, like I said, you have to. Um, I'm an empath, which means I can feel and the thoughts, I can hear thoughts of others, I can feel the energy of others. And part of my system to help keep myself on track is time management. We all have the same 24 hours, no one more than the other. What you do with your 24 hours is totally up to you. So you want to, spend it with draining people and in toxic environments and situations, that is your choice. We all have free will. However, if you choose otherwise and you are tired of living in that vibration, because it's literally a vibration. We are energy and we have a frequency and vibration. Once you're tired of that, the biggest catalyst towards change is disgust. Once
Okay.
you're disgusted with that feeling, then you can seek to change it. And, like I said, only when you recognize patterns can you then interrupt them. And, sometimes our patterns are built in our family. Sometimes we have a family pathology of, tragic events and addictions and traumas and things like that. So, you may be kind of predisposed to some of these energy and vibrations, but you can always interrupt the pattern. It starts with you.
And I'm glad you said pattern because, we all operate off of pattern. I was reading this book called, it has something related to do with the subconscious mind. And it talks about how our subconscious mind doesn't know between right or wrong. So when I read that, it just taught me that most of the time we're just operating off a pattern, autopilot. And when you sit back and reflect and understand your pattern, then you get to unlearn these patterns and relearn the patterns that you said, maybe different habits and different things you want to take up and
Yeah.
change.
Yeah, it definitely. And, I also feel as though once you're able to recognize the patterns in yourself, you can recognize patterns in others as well. Why that's important? Because a lot of times when we engage in communication with others, we tend to be very defensive by nature. And then we come out from a place of aggression when this person may be behaving in a way, from their subconscious being. You see what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with you, right? Maybe they are going through some things, but that's where kind of meditation comes in, and that detachment. You can detach yourself from the situation, the person, or what's happening, and say, you know what? This has nothing to do with me. This is merely a reflection of them. And they might be going through something. I will forgive. I'll give them a pass and I can move on. Rather than, having it just spin in our minds and cycle like, how can I get them back? Or, what can I do about this? Again, you can only control yourself. That's all you can do.
Yep. And I think people really need to hear that because, a lot of times in life, we think that we have so much control outside, externally, but it's really, truly like you said, having control internally, being able to control yourself.
Mhm. Yeah, definitely for sure. I mean, it's funny when I first opened Try Wellness, I would have people say to me, "Oh, I know a person that could use that. Oh, I know somebody." Always somebody that knew somebody that could benefit from the service, not them themselves. Oh, just somebody. I know somebody. And so to kind of look in the mirror and be like, am I in balance? The thing about the being that you are is we're comprised of mind, body, spirit, and emotion. So if one of those key components it's off balance, it's going to take the others with them. It's kind of like riding with a flat tire, right?
Right.
So again, if you are going through maybe something medically that's causing you physical ailment, it affects the spirit. It truly does. It affects the mind. And vice versa. If you're going through something spiritual, sometimes it may take your body with it, and now you're having ailments due to what you're going through, physically and mentally. So again, just kind of always being in tune with yourself, and it gets easier for people. I know a lot of people say, "Oh, well, meditation's hard for me. I can't, clear the thoughts in my mind." Well, here's a news flash. Nobody can. We are programmed to be thinkers. That's how we are. But you can train your mind to be quiet. You don't have to engage with that thought. I like to think of thoughts as clouds. If you're just laying on the grass and looking at the clouds, let them pass by. Don't jump on them. So if something comes up like, I need to go to the grocery store, then don't run into, well, I got to get tomatoes and fruit and blah, blah. You don't have to go along with that thought. You can just observe it. Yep, got to go to the grocery store. Let it pass. Back to my breathing. I mean, our minds are so powerful. We can really cause anything in the body. And unfortunately, because our mind is so strained with negativity and problems and things like that, it does have an effect in a negative way as well. And so, you know, I, I want people to realize basically how important meditation is to the body. It's about being quiet to connect. I mean, we're so quick to engage in conversation and throw out and what we think and all of that, but none of us really take the time to quiet, sit in stillness and receive. And if you ask for the answers, you will receive. So
I know that's right. Ask and you shall receive.
exactly.
All right, so the next question I have here is, and you probably already touched bases on this, but how can one raise their vibration up?
How can one raise their vibrations up? Well, it's all about nature. It's
Okay.
all about nature. It's about connecting to your inner nature. That's where meditation comes in. Sunshine is one of the best medicines. All right. Go outside, take a walk, connect with the trees, connect with the animals, the sounds, the feeling of the wind against your skin. That's what it means to be in that present moment and be in gratitude and appreciate it. I mean, if you want to talk about the pandemic, right right now, today, there are people in the hospital that can't go outside for that walk and can't, observe nature in the way that they would like to. So I think if you're looking for an immediate increase in raising your vibration, step outside. Step outside. Also, very important to your vibration, which a lot of us take for granted, is the food that you consume. If you feeling low, I mean, I'm sorry, I love Popeyes, but they're not going to make you feel like, a stellar source of energy at the end of the day. You're going to get into a food coma and that'll be it for you.
You're going straight to sleep.
You are what, I mean, it's true. You are what you eat. And so if you truly wish to raise your vibration, it comes from the cleaner fuel that you put in your body, more greens, fruits, things that are natural, you know?
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. I had one friend who told me about grounding and earthing,
Hmm.
where you will go barefoot into
Hmm.
the grass and put your feet on the ground
Connecting with nature.
and
That's
connecting
right.
with nature.
That
So,
connecting with nature. When you do that grounding that you're talking about, sometimes, I mean, it's really important, just because sometimes we feel just out of body, out of place sometimes. And so, grounding helps connect the spirit to the earth. That's
mm,
all grounding is about. And it's important. It happens sometimes. I mean, sometimes we just have a day that we just feel totally off and disconnected from oneself. So, the goal is, and I know there's many healing modalities out there, and for someone who's brand new to the whole thing, it's a lot to take in. But the key here is nature, and finding your resources in nature that make you feel good. I mean, you are different from me, and I'm different from the next man. So, you may like greens. I don't like greens, whatever that may be. I have to find what works for me. And in order to find what works for me, I have to try things. Right. And so that's where TriWellness comes in. We offer the Reiki, we offer crystals, we offer the meditation, we do the tarot cards. Coming soon will be yoga in the beginning of the year. And these all align and are beautiful healing modalities to help increase the vibration of oneself.
so you guys hear it, man. They have a spectrum of different modalities to heal yourself, from yoga to crystals to the tarot cards to the Reiki healing. So, you know, whenever you get a chance, go to Try Wellness LLC. It's located in Silver Spring, and just develop yourself. Develop your health, develop your spirituality, and then increase your energy, because that's really important. Like, going back to what you're saying about the Popeyes, you know, you can eat all of these low vibration foods, but after a while, you're gonna tell the difference on how you feel. You-
Definitely.
You're gonna tell the
Definitely.
difference how you feel. So, a lot of people are coming from religion to spirituality. So my next question is, in your point of view, I know this is a controversial topic, but I would love to hear your point of view on, what do you think the difference between religion and spirituality truly is?
Well, I think that's a great question. And just to give everybody a little bit of background, I was actually baptized Catholic. I am Catholic in my family, and now I consider myself a spiritualist. And I think the key difference in the two, between religion and spirituality, are these fear-based rules that kind of tend to come, along with the whole acceptance of religion. It's like, don't do this and you got to do that, or if you'll go to hell, and blah, 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 and keep the Sabbath holy, and all of these rules. And at the end of the day, you are a little God. Okay. If you were made in his image, we are all little gods. We were all made in his image. Okay. So I don't need to go to a special house of worship or read a certain book or what have you. I can just connect with the God that is within. You know
Right.
what I mean? And a lot of times, like I said, there's this fear-based, I think, mentality when it comes to religion, that no, 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 I must go to church and I have to, wear my best and bring my book and blah, 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 blah. There are no rules. There are no rules. No one has a monopoly on God. Not one religion has a monopoly on God. And you don't need a single material thing on this earth to connect with your creator. And so I think that's the key difference between religion and spirituality.
Excellent. And like you said, and I remember hearing this in spiritual texts, um, throughout all spiritual texts, the kingdom of God is within.
Mhm.
So, like you said, your temple, your
Mhm.
uh, your mosque, your church, it all lies within you.
Yes, your body is your temple, your body is your mosque. It always lies within you. And I think that no matter the religion, and I'm not coming down on religion, I think that religions as a whole are just intricately beautiful. They all have their differences. But no matter what religion you are, there's always a firm baseline, which is that God is love. That is
God
the
is love.
baseline. And to experience that, you can start with yourself. Love oneself, love the God in you, you know, and then you can invite, you know, him to kind of help you along the way to navigate. You know, he didn't send us on this earthly journey and forsake us, right? You know, he gave us all the tools that we need to tap in. We just got to utilize them, you know. And you know, a lot of the things that Tri Wellness does, like the meditation, like the Reiki, these are not new techniques. These are ancient techniques that have been around for many years, you know, before there was, you know, x-ray machines and MRI machines. You know, the Japanese were healing themselves, the Chinese were doing herbalism. You know, there's many different ancient. So I think that in order to sustain one's health and wellness in this modern time, is to kind of incorporate, you know, the new contemporary medicine with ancient techniques and find what works best for you. There's no rules. You can combine as many as you need to get you to a state of wellness where you're at peace.
Exactly.
Yeah,
It's to me, it's all about being open-minded, you know, and just
definitely.
not being stuck in dogma and being stuck in one with what I call it, like one-dimensional thinking. Um,
Yes.
it's about just being open-minded, and I think that's what spirituality and these spiritual practices help people do. Actually help for me, for I would say help me to understand that the perspective I have on things may be different for somebody else, and I have to accept that and respect that somebody else has a different form. Not gonna bash it, not going to put them down, make them feel little, because at the end of the day, like you said, God is love. So if I love myself and they're doing something different, it doesn't really matter at the end of the day.
Right, right. And you know, ultimately, so long as you live in your truth, then, like I said, when we talk about the law of attraction, only then will you invite truth into your world, right? People who can be honest with you and authentic and all of that. I mean, there's so much fear in the world, like you said, and then, you know, the fear leads to us not trusting one another and then responding aggressively, and fear just leads to negative things completely. So, you know, I gave you the car analogy, and it literally is like that. You know, you have to kind of envision that you're, you know, in this vehicle are your mind, body, spirit, and emotion. And in the driver's seat at all times has to be your spirit. Okay. Bad things happen when we let emotion drive the car. All right. Sometimes she gets angry. We might go off the cliff. Who knows? We don't want to let emotion we don't want to let emotion in the driver's seat. Um, Spirit should be the only one there. And sometimes our people put their minds there. You know what I mean? And the mind doesn't shut off. It really doesn't. And it doesn't always choose what's best for us. But you know what I have found in this journey of, you know, mediumship, is that when I tune in and I tap into spirit, I never get the wrong answer. I never get the wrong answer. 100% of the time, they navigate me in the direction that is meant for me, and that works out. It always works out.
I like that. It always works out when you follow yourself and listen to your spirit. And
Exactly.
I can give you a example. I remember back in college, my spirit was telling me, don't go out and party, sit home and relax. I went out and I disregarded what my spirit said, and my car got towed that day.
Mm,
And and that's why I tell people it's always good to have discernment, but just be able to listen to yourself, listen to your
yes.
intuition, because that
Yes.
intuition is there. And if we subside and don't listen to it, things like that happen.
Let me tell you, when I first you know, started accepting this path, you know, I'm a very hard-headed person sometimes, and so, you know, I'm always like, I could receive the message, but my response will be, you know, I got free will. I'm a co-creator here, and if I don't want to do that, I'm not going to listen to you. I'm going to do my own thing. And you know, spirit, they're so beautiful. They don't argue. Okay, you'll see. And things would work out negatively, you know, in my world. And you know, only then, you know, like they say, hindsight is 2020, right? So only
Right.
then you come out with the, oh, I shouldn't have done it, I wish I would have listened, so on and so forth. And I just learned, once you learn to connect with spirit like that, then you begin to trust it. because you know from experience at that point that it never leads you wrong. Now in this present moment, they can tell me to turn left. I'm not even asking questions like where we're going or anything. I'm just going to turn that left because I know, you know, spirit, they basically are in charge, and they have my best interest at heart. So
Got you.
yeah.
Well, that sums up, all of the questions, the people had and I had as well. Well, I'm going to move on to the conclusion. First of all, I wanted to ask, how can people reach you and get in contact with you as for Try Wellness LLC?
Well, the best way is by phone. You can either call or text. The phone number is 240-476-4065, or you can visit us on Instagram or Facebook at Try Wellness LLC. And Try Wellness is spelled altogether TRI capital WELLNESS. So Try Wellness.
Got you. And I'm gonna make sure to put it in the descriptions in this
Great.
video.
Thanks so much.
And as well as some of the testimonies that you've received. Can, let's get one testimony.
Yeah, so you know, being a spiritual medium is a little different from, like, let's say being an eyelash lady. You know, I could show you the results and the fruits of my labor, but the spirit is a little bit different. So
Okay.
the only thing that I have is, like you're saying, testimonies from people who have come to see me. And I've had people who are very, you know, defensive. They come up with this wall. I mean, they're curious and they want the healing, but they don't trust, right? They have that fear. So they come with this wall. And you know, I do my thing. I try to make people feel as comfortable as possible. And the Reiki is such a beautiful thing. I've had people literally sit up from a Reiki session and release through the form of tears, years of pain, trauma, heartache, all of that. And you know, it's great, because only when things bubble up to the surface can they then be released. Think of bubbles, right? Only when
Right.
it comes to the surface, then it can be released into the air. And that's how it is. And so I've had people, you know, so for some people, they have monthly sessions that they come to see me, because we're dealing with years or sometimes decades worth of trauma. But I have a lot of people that release those pains with me. I have others that because I'm a medium, I'm able to kind of connect with their spirit guides and their ancestors. And so they feel supported energetically. You know, they know that they have a system of people who love them, whether they're, you know, in physical form or metaphysical form. You know, to have that reassurance and that affirmation that, you know, you are not forsaken, you are not left alone, you know. It's really healing for people. I've had people send me messages that, you know, after a session, they felt empowered. They just felt confident to take on their life circumstances. They felt like they had more clarity in situations, in which way to go. And people have thanked me and said that my spirit is breathtaking, that I'm able to tap into this. You know, I don't, there's a certain level of privacy, you know, that happens these days because all of us are on social media and we're out there, right? So people try to hold on to their privacy as much as possible, which I respect, you know. And so I try not to dig in the person. I only am picking up what's on the surface. So if I'm feeling sadness and there's heartache here, you don't have to tell me the details. Oh, my dog died, and you know, da 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 da, and then such and such happened. That's up to you. Yeah, however open you want to be is your decision. And you know, and it's okay. But like you said, kind of leading with the foot of having an open mind is always going to lead you down a good journey.
This was an amazing conversation with you, Ella. I'm
Yeah.
so thankful and grateful and indebted to you for having you on this call. The people learned a lot. They learned a lot about Reiki as well as meditation. And you guys already know I'm all about promoting health and wellness.
Yeah,
Um,
and bless you for that, because so many people, like, you know, they need it but are too hesitant to ask, you know. And I mean, like I said, strength comes from the heart. And so when you have heart to open it to another, to let them know that you need help. That's so strong. And, you know, people should be commended more for that rather
Exactly.
than being it viewed as a weakness. So we all need some help from time to time.
Exactly. We all need help, and that's why we're here to help. So you guys, if you guys need any consultation, any meditation, any Reiki healing, crystal therapy, tarot cards, yoga coming up in the beginning of this next year,
Yes.
Ella's the person to go to. She's a beautiful soul here
Thank
to help
you.
you, health and wellness. And like she said, she's giving you the contact information. I'm going to also provide that in the description. And you know, before we get off this call, do you have any last words for the people? Any last remarks?
Oh, I'll keep it short. Be a kind human. Be a kind human. And that kindness starts with kindness of yourself. Be good to yourself.
Be good to yourself.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Ella, for joining me on this call. You guys, like she said, be good to yourself, be a kind human, and give somebody a helping hand. Be righteous.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, rewards, you know, positive energy attracts like energy. So, you know, the Lord will always repay your service, your kindness, for sure.
For sure, exactly. Thank you, Ella, once
Thank you
again.
so much for having me. I appreciate it. Take
No
care.
problem. Enjoy
Peace
the
and love
rest
to
of
everybody.
peace and
Bye.
blessings. Take care. Bye bye.
You too.